Hi, I am Chelsea from Bezla. The traditional foundation of the hotel industry was service and hospitality. The crucial requirements for managers included a strong service ethic, an extreme attention to detail, and a thorough understanding of the hotel industry. While the hotel was certainly a business, the expectation was professionals learned business functions on the job. As the industry evolved, management ranks expanded to include sales personnel whose job was to ensure a steady stream of business. The sales outlook valued not the quality of the business, but the constancy of rooms sold over a day, a month, or a year. The statistic that mattered most was the percentage of occupied rooms. Since the measure was in daily flux, the sales personnel focused on acquiring and maintaining a regular amount of business. Room rates were established based on the rates of competitors with little consideration given to actual demand. A simple parallel equation was followed throughout the industry. When demand was soft, rates were lowered. When demand was strong, rates were increased. The overriding mantra in the industry was location, location, location. Where the hotel was built was the overwhelming factor in success. What mattered was being close to public transport train stations, highways, airports, in the center of the business district, at a halfway point in the journey, or at a particular destination. It was location that brought guests, which in turn brought revenue and profitability. This tenet became so firmly rooted in the hotel mindset that many considered location to be the only business decision that mattered. Over the past 5 decades, the very structure of the industry has changed considerably. Economic, technological, and societal events and forces have combined to create a new set of expectations for hotel managers. Now, general managers, operations managers, and staff managers must be technically adept, business-minded, market, product, and competitor savvy, performance-driven, and results-oriented. The very elements that define managerial success in the hotel industry have become more complex due to the demands of publicly held companies, advances in technologies, and the growing expectations of consumers. Financial returns dominate managerial success as the hotel industry marches to the return on investment drumbeat. This structural and cultural change has created a dramatic shift in accountability. Today, the primary obligation is to create a solid financial future for the property. Relationships are measured against their ability to generate a return on investment that provides the best value and profitability for the business. The rising profit expectations have engendered new management positions that focus solely on the revenue equations, revenue managers, and asset managers. Increased revenue and profit responsibilities for managers have simultaneously redrawn the scope and complexity of their jobs. The time when the most important skill for a general manager was his or her sense of service and hospitality has forever passed. Likewise, the value of a salesperson is no longer determined solely by efforts outside of the office. For salespeople, time spent in-house was considered a waste as the go-getter was always busy securing business. Wining and dining the client was vital to making the sale. Tracking productivity was a simple science based on the number of calls made each day. The quality of the visit, effectiveness of the pitch, and value of the business were of little importance. Today, the sales director's ability to schmooze and entertain has been eclipsed by job functions that require a thorough knowledge of e-commerce, consumer behavior, database marketing, and financial management. The reality is that what is being sold has become more complicated. The consumer it is being sold to has far more experience, and the competition has become more sophisticated. The new reality of ROI requires that sales and revenue managers work in concert to maximize the revenues of a given inventory of products and services. Their challenge is to identify the right mix of customers, dates, products, and prices to generate a positive return for the company while hedging against extreme peaks and valleys to obtain the greatest return on every available room. Each variable is analyzed to determine which customer will buy what type room, at what price, and on what day. Setting room rates during the second half of the 20th century was a relatively one-dimensional procedure. Sales personnel checked the rates of individual competitors and created a comparison chart of rates by market type group: corporate, rack, home-based. The general manager and the director of sales used this information to set room rates for 3, 6, or 12 months. Once the rates were set, sales personnel were sent out to find business. Established rates had very little give, but during traditionally slow periods, pricing strategy was such that no rate was too low. The key to revenue strategy was to book any business so that occupancy would increase rather than decrease. Perhaps the greatest conceptual change for managers is the idea that not all revenue is created equal. There is a cost to accepting one reservation over another. Managers need to consider the variables and understand the nature of demand in a macro and micro sense. Professionals are expected to manage the dollars and to determine the quality of the revenue. To do so, they must shift from a service-based organization to an information-driven enterprise. The quality and timeliness of information is the key variable. Information must be obtained, managed, and analyzed on a qualitative and quantitative basis to ensure that inventory is properly utilized. Determining the worth of a customer has become a science. It is no longer enough to simply book business. Now, managers must demonstrate the long-term worth of a client. They can determine the client's present and future value by building a dynamic profile. They may evaluate a marginal piece of business in the near term to determine if significant growth is probable in the long term, allowing them to make a better decision about the hotel's level of commitment to securing and maintaining the business. Among the factors that they weigh are the level and scope of the service demands of the client, their discount expectations, the timing of the business, and the loss of other business. It may be that the profitability of the account is greatly diminished by a combination of increased labor costs and loss of rate during a time when demand far outstrips supply. What at first glance appeared to be a coup could really be a drain on profitability. If Bezla could be a service for your hotel marketing, call us at 888-999-8086 or visit us at bezla.com.